Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Husband and Wife podcast. My name is Sanj, and I'm here with my beautiful wife.
What's up? It's Chels.
And we are so excited about this show, you guys. This is our very first episode of our podcast. It is happening, finally. This has been in the work for years. We've had this vision for a really, really long time.
Yeah.
Finally, we're taking action, and a lot of moving pieces had to come together for us to record this podcast right now.
Definitely. This is decades in the making. We have been talking. We've just been talking and experiencing marriage ourselves as a husband and wife for 17 years now.
Yeah.
And we have thought about doing something like this, and it is finally here. So we are really excited that, everything came together, and that we're here together to have this conversation.
And we are so honored that you are here listening to us, our very first episode. So we're honored. Thank you so much. We appreciate your time, and we're grateful for you. And we really hope to create a lot of value with this podcast moving forward. So yes. I'm excited about it, and I know you are too, Chels.
For sure.
We've been working on this behind the scene, and we've had to face some challenges. Starting a podcast is not as easy as it looks or sounds.
Yeah, let's be honest. This was a lot more complicated as we started actually diving into the process than we initially anticipated. But you know what? Anything great is worth the sacrifice and the fight, for sure.
Absolutely. And truth be told, anytime you're starting something new, a new project or new business, a new relationship, whatever you're getting into, that's something new and out of your comfort zone, let's admit it, there's going to be a lot of obstacles, challenges, and problems that you're going to face.
And a learning curve.
And a big learning curve. So, this is the problem with most people when they start something, right? Is when they face their first challenge or problem, and they get discouraged. A lot of times they quit. A lot of times, a lot of things don't materialize and manifest because people don't have the patience, the grit, and the grace to work through the challenges to really materialized or manifest something, right? So we did not want to give up.
No, we wouldn't be stopped.
We did not want to give up no matter how many obstacles and challenges came our way. We kept getting back up every time we fell down, and hey, here we are on the mic.
We are here. So we're going to keep it short and sweet today, but we want to let you guys know a few things. And the first thing is, why did we want to make this podcast? We have worn a lot of different hats in our lives together, for sure. And here we are as brand new little podcasters with our first episode right now. Why did we want to make a podcast about marriage?
Right. And why are we qualified to do this podcast?
Totally.
So, we've been married now for 17 years now, right? And over the last 17 years, my goodness, we've gone through our share of challenges, the highs and the lows, and, all the storms that go through marriages. And, we fought for each other. We fought for this marriage. Yes. And the work is not done. It's a work in progress to continue to improve and get better in your relationships, but we feel grateful for each other. We feel grateful for the challenges and obstacles that came our way that really was, now I see, it was really meant to grow us.
Yeah, for sure.
And not break us apart. So, we're still fighting the good fight, and I believe there are a lot of people out there that are wanting to fight this good fight because of all the benefits, all the fulfillment, and all the advantages that come from building a strong, healthy, prosperous marriage, right? So
absolutely. And we're here in America, so we're in the western side of the world. I know people might be listening to this in different parts of the world, but one thing we talk about often, like pillow talk, kitchen counter talk, is the deterioration of the nuclear family, which essentially comes back to husbands and wives and commitment around marriage. Definitely over the last handful of decades, we have seen just the value around marriage decline. The average time people are actually together has gotten shorter. how many marriages someone might have in one lifetime has increased, and definitely divorce rates are up. So there are a lot of moving parts. Relationships are very complex, but we're definitely seeing that it is not on an upward climb in this side of the world.
Right.
And that young people, I think, are more and more kind of cautious and not attracted to the thought of getting married, and feel, even if they do get married, that, there's an easy trap door. I don't really need to stay with this person. Marriage doesn't really mean anything more than an Instagram post. And we really have this mission in our hearts to change that.
Yeah, absolutely. And let's be honest, you guys. I mean, I can speak for United States. I'm sure, this problem exists in other places as well. But living here in the U.S., what I see is that divorce is normalized. It's very normal to get a divorce. It's become very common, and I feel like the husband and the wife or partners in a marriage, they're no longer willing to really fight for their marriage. They're not willing to go through the growing pains of building a strong relationship. And for you to have anything good in life, you have to go through some storms. You have to go through the mud sometimes to reap the rewards of something great, right? And I just feel like people aren't willing to go through that, and it's showing in our society, right? Look around. I mean, the stats are mind-blowing. We'll share some of these stats moving forward on the show, but 2 out of 3 marriages end in divorce. I think it's increasing, and it may be more, but at least 2 out of 3 marriages end in divorce in North America, and that's pretty sad. It's pretty sad for the kids that are involved, and it's pretty sad for the overall well-being of a man and a woman, right? Because I think we haven't been through a divorce, but from what I see and what I've learned, and
we've had a lot of friends get divorced.
Right, and what I've been able to observe is that it is one of the hardest things to go through for a couple and for kids. So our mission is to really bring you some insight. Our mission is to really talk about this subject and to really dive into what it really takes to build a good marriage, a healthy marriage, right? What does it look like? What are the benefits? Why should one fight for their marriage? And I think it's a very important topic in the marketplace today. I think a lot of people need to hear this, and a lot of people need to be informed and get that insight into the world of marriage.
Yeah. And we also totally understand that there's some relationships where there's violence, or there's just bad boundaries that are being broken, or really toxic things happening. And we're not talking about that. There are some people that they've just, that's the road that they're on, and they probably should get divorced. We're talking about people that just can't get their shit together. They just can't get on the same page. They just can't get along. They can't get the compromise going. They can't seem to be moving in the same direction as a couple. And we want to provide a place, even just this one little space, where that couple might come across this, and they might find real tools and inspiration and an example on how they can get on the same page, and they can build a life that they're not just stuck together, but they enjoy it too.
Right. And I believe entitlement, pride, and ego are destroying a lot of marriages, right? And especially here in America, most people feel entitled to a lot of things, right? Yeah. Even entitled to their partner showing up perfectly and not being human, not making mistakes. So that needs to change. That narrative and that perspective have to change. So I'm excited to dive into this topic, and I know this is going to be something very valuable, and it's going to impact a lot of people in a very positive way. So I'm excited for that. We have a big vision for this podcast, and we're so excited and honored to be here doing this.
Yeah. So we also want to share with you who we are. Obviously, we're probably totally brand new to a lot of you. You have no idea who is Sanj and who is Chels. So in a quick synopsis, and you'll learn more about us as we share more stories in different episodes and whatnot, but tell them quickly, who is Sanj? Who is the husband in this husband and wife?
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, me and you, we have been together for 18 years now.
Yes.
We've been married for almost 17 years. So that's a big chunk of my life right there. But my story, I was born and I grew up in the island of Sri Lanka. It's a beautiful place. It's paradise. I would recommend you visiting there at least once in your life. It's a lot of culture.
Oh my gosh.
It's a wild, beautiful island. I loved growing up there. But unfortunately, my family had to flee the country in the year of 1990 because of the war on the island. So I still remember the flight that we left on in the middle of the night. My mom with both my siblings, just fled the country because it was no longer a safe place to be. There was a civil war that had been going on there for over 30 years, and it really intensified towards the end of us, just before us leaving there. And like I said, it was not a safe place to be, and whoever could get out, got out. And my mom and dad, they decided to move to Canada, of all places.
Wow, from Sri Lanka to Canada. Can we just imagine that type of a change when you're a teenager?
Oh yeah, huge culture shock. And so I ended up in Canada at the age of 14. And
were you speaking English?
No, not fluently at all. So Tamil is my mother tongue, is that right? Mother tongue, yeah. And I had to learn English really fast, you guys.
How did you learn English?
Well, from sitcoms and TV shows. So, I attempted to speak English. I can say a few words, here and there, but I could not speak fluently. And my goodness, sometimes teenagers can be mean, and
oh, teenagers can be really mean. Have you ever seen
not all of them, but
girls?
Not all of them. But in my case, I was bullied a lot. I was made fun of, and I became very insecure and scared. And I knew that I needed to adapt fast. And one of the things about human beings, man, they're so resilient and they're so good at adapting to a new environment really fast. And I had to do that. And I knew first thing I had to do was learn English so people wouldn't make fun of me, all right, for my accent and my inability to speak English. And so I would run home from school and watch sitcoms, episode after episode. Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, Family Matters, Full House. You guys may know some of these shows.
Shout out Full House.
Yeah, and some of you may be asking, what kind of shows are those? Yes, I'm that old. But those shows really helped me speak English. I feel like English was an easy language to learn. Tamil, on the other hand,
maybe compared to Tamil, yeah.
Of course, Tamil, on the other hand, has 256 letters in the alphabet.
Wow.
And compared to 26, right, in English. Right. So I felt like English was pretty easy to learn. Maybe I just learned it out of fear, really fast. But survival mechanism.
Yeah.
So I spent the next 25 years living in Canada, going to school, having different jobs, businesses, things like that. And I met Chelsea, my wife, and in 2005. So 18 years ago, on a trip to Cancun, Mexico.
Oh.
I went down to Cancun with two of my friends to party, not to find my wife, but to party on spring break. We were so excited so fired up to turn it up. And little did I know, God had my wife waiting for me in Cancun. The first night I went out to a nightclub, we met, and the rest was kind of history. We'll definitely touch on more of the details about how we met.
We'll have to really dive into our story one of these days.
It's pretty juicy, so we'll have to dive into that. But after meeting you, then, the last 10 years in Canada, we lived together, we built businesses together, we built a family together, we built our life together. But I think after 10 years together in the cold, we got tired of the winters, and we wanted the sun. I'm from an island. I love the sun. Sunshine just lights me up. I'm sure a lot of you can relate to me. And I just became very depressed in the winter. Do you remember in Toronto?
Gosh, yes. Toronto is an incredible city, and I love living there, but the winters are very depressing.
It's a beautiful city, world-class city. The summers are amazing in Toronto, but the winters were just too long. And I became depressed, man. The overcast skies and the gloomy days. I just wanted something different, and I saw a different vision for my family. I saw a different environment that we can move to. that would provide the climate and the the sunshine that we were looking for. So from Toronto, we made a move to San Diego, California. And someone told us that it was really nice in San Diego and the sun shines all the time. And they were right.
They were right. It's dang beautiful over there in San Diego.
Yeah, it is a city with beautiful weather. After living there for 6 years, COVID happened. And during COVID, there was a lot of changes, obviously. And we made a decision to pick up our family and move to Florida. So we've been in Florida for 2.5 years now, and it's been great. I love it here in Florida.
Yeah, we're in the Tampa Bay area.
I love the winters here. It's beautiful. I gotta be honest though, so it's summer, the 2 months in summer is kind of hot for me here.
It's a little too
It's
juicy.
a little humid. So I'm thinking of, traveling during those times.
Toronto is a great place to go to in the
Right.
So,
Yeah, maybe we'll go up there.
Backups, yeah.
But other than that, it's been great. Florida's been great. And so I'm a father, a husband, an entrepreneur, and I am really passionate about the subject of marriage and building a nucleus family, a strong family together. I'm a big fan of keeping your family together through the thick and thin and all the storms. And we are a work in progress, and we're going to continue to fight the good fight with all of you to build a great family unit and to build great values. That's kind of like my mission. I think it's a big enough mission. Going forward, we need this in our society. We need more people to talk about the benefits of marriage and how to build a healthy, strong marriage. It's a huge topic of discussion, and I'm really excited to dive into it. So that's a little bit about me. I know I can talk all day about myself. But what about you, Chels? Share a little bit about yourself and where you're from.
Yeah, so just a little bit about me. I'm born and raised in Boise, Idaho. My whole family still lives there, in fact. So shout out to all my Idaho-mies. What's up?
Idaho!
I had a great little childhood growing up in my one same home my whole life. I lived in the same house. I could walk to each one of my schools. I used to ride my bike around the city with my girlfriend, Heather. What's up, Heather? And life was good. I gotta say, when it comes to the family side of things, I have, my parents split by the time I was 4, so I didn't really have a memory of like my whole family living together. We were kind of that good old American family, lots of blended siblings and step siblings, and that definitely was tough for me. In fact, there was just so much going on when it came to divorce and marriage and stepbrother and stepsister and all of that by the time I was 18, I pretty much decided I'm not going to be getting married. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to be having a family. That seems very complicated.
Because a good marriage wasn't modeled for you.
Correct. Yeah. I saw just a lot of chaos. Mm-hmm. to be honest.
You didn't know what a great marriage looked like, and I think that's a huge issue for a lot of young people in America. They haven't had the opportunity to see a good marriage be modeled for them.
Yeah, so it just wasn't really something that I thought was important. It wasn't something I really wanted to pursue. I grew up loving to dance. Loving to paint and kind of just do anything creative. I was a good student, but I really didn't want to go to college and get stuck in a career that I hated. I knew I wanted sunshine, so I definitely had that in common. I knew I wanted to live a great life, and that was about all I knew. So I graduated high school and decided I wanted to go to Mexico. I wanted to go to Cancun. So I took the one thing that I owned, which was my car, and sold that, took the cash, walked to a travel agency and booked a ticket to stay at a 1-star hotel for 2 weeks in Cancun.
Wow, you're a savage.
Yes, it was pretty bad, the condition of the place, but it was fun. And what happened was, it was a great investment, you guys, because the first night I went out, we went to this huge nightclub called Daddy O's, and I happened to walk by this beautiful brown man with rippling muscles in a G-Unit tank top, and I was like, oh my gosh. He didn't even look at me, but I just headed straight to the dance floor. I was just there to have a good time. I just want to have fun, celebrate being done with school. And then he saw me and came up to me on the dance floor, and we ended up spending night together, spending the next day together, and just really falling in love. And yeah, we did long distance for a couple of months, and then I moved up to Toronto, and we started our lives together. We spent 10 years up there, had our first child. I did go to fashion school up in Toronto at the Art Institute. But really after I graduated, we got married shortly after that. And I think we just both always thought, man, we didn't sacrifice all of this and meet and come together so we could just spend nights and weekends together. We really wanted to build a life together. So we started a small business. We transitioned into network marketing and then ultimately into e-commerce, and continue to have babies, continue to chase the sunshine and build this life. It's definitely an untraditional life. We also homeschool our oldest two daughters. Our little son is not school age yet, but that's a little bit about who I am. And I'm definitely, like I said before, I didn't think marriage was on the pathway of something I wanted. So when I met someone that I didn't necessarily knew in that moment, I want to marry you. It was like a psycho like that. But I knew I wanted to spend time with you and more time with you and more time with you. And it was just yes after yes. And then it was like, of course I want to be your wife. Of course I want to have babies with you. And I had seen what giving up on that looked like. And I just didn't ever want to take our kids down that path and take ourselves down that path. So staying married and staying fulfilled in our marriage became really, really important. Because I also saw growing up some couples that stayed together out of convenience of the kids. And it was like as soon as the kids were out, they got divorced, they hated each other, and it was just such a mess. So I was just from day one, the day that you said, will you marry me? I was like, okay, like, I hope you know what you're getting into here. I am a Leo, like I am loyal and I want to take this thing to the stars. And you showed up with the same commitment. So
thank you.
It's been one of the most beautiful things we've ever done together, for sure.
Yeah, it's been quite the journey, last 18 years of meeting each other and going through so much life. And, sometimes, we're obviously on social media, and sometimes people look at our posts and our pictures and think, wow, they're just lucky, it's easy for them, or, they just have it together. They never have problems. They just always look happy, yada, yada, yada. But isn't that the story with social media? We share the highlights, right? So it's really hard to see what's going on behind the scene. But for us, we faced a lot of challenges and obstacles and highs and lows in our marriage, and that's normal. It's supposed to be like that. That's how you build a strong marriage. But some people don't want that, right? They want it, the microwave mentality. They want a husband or a wife or a partner just ready-made, perfect, with no flaws.
The Instagram version of their husband or wife.
But that's not reality, you guys. The reality is that you will have problems. You will offend each other. No matter how compatible you are as a husband and wife, you're human. You have emotions, and you will offend.
You will offend.
You will
upset.
You will upset. You will make the other person angry. But that's why we put in work. That's why we commit to doing the work, because through that process is what really bonds you and builds you stronger and brings you closer together.
Yeah.
You have to go through the storm to enjoy the sunshine. You have to go through the challenges to enjoy the prosperity, right? And we understood that. I understood that. I didn't expect my marriage to be easy. I knew it would take work, and it will continue to take work. But that's the most important thing to understand in a marriage, that God gives you problems to help you get better and not bitter. So it's been quite the ride.
Yes, good stuff.
It's been quite the ride, and now we're excited to share some of those insights with all of you going forward. That's what we're really excited about.
Yeah. We have a lot to talk about. We've been brainstorming different things we want to talk about. Relationships are very complex. There are so many different pieces and parts of it. So what can people expect? What can they look forward to from us here at this podcast? And maybe why should they consider subscribing and listening to more episodes?
For sure, absolutely. That's a great question. And definitely this is not about us, this podcast. It's really about, others that are listening in. How can we impact them in a positive way? This podcast isn't for us to show off, hey, look at us, we're perfect, we're good. It's not about that. We want to come here with full transparency, without a mask, and just be ourselves in front of you, and just share things that are very important and insightful. So what can you expect here? Definitely some practical tips on working on your marriage, on how to build a strong, prosperous, healthy marriage. Our insights come from our personal experience as well as us learning from people that have great marriages, right?
Yeah, and from people that have awful marriages that fell apart faster than we could believe. We try and take notes on what not to do as well.
Right. I think that's so important.
Yeah.
Sometimes to learn, not sometimes, but whenever you get the chance to be able to learn from other people's mistake. It's called OPE, other people's experience, because you can't possibly live long enough to make all the mistakes you need to learn all the wisdom that you need to build something great, right? So mentorship or being able to learn from others is a great quality that you can have, because the successful person can teach you something, but the person who failed, I think, can teach you a lot more. So we take that, from both sides, and we want to be able to share those with you guys moving forward. And we want
so
to
you can get practical tips. We want you to be able to watch episodes and be able to get off of this and have certain things that you can implement right away in your marriage, maybe certain conversations you can have, or different attitudes, perspectives, behaviors, all sorts of things. And we would love to hear from you. If there are certain things you want us to talk about or address or share in our relationship that you want to learn from, please let us know, because we definitely want this to serve you for sure. And you're also going to get real dialogue. You're going to get a real husband and wife who have been together for quite a while, who have had kids, who have moved, who've worked together, who've had businesses together, to share a lot of our experiences as well, and just share the truth. We're really going to pull back the curtain and try and give you guys a real glimpse into not just our relationships, but maybe other things we've learned from other people as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And we need you guys as well to really make the show great, because a lot of you listening may have some great questions, some great topics that you may want us to talk about or dive into. Some of you may have had experiences in your marriage that can be helpful on the show. So we love to hear from you guys. We love that engagement, and we want to get to know your story as well. But I feel honored and I feel privileged to be able to do this. I feel so grateful today to be able to have this technology, have these cameras. Our kids are good. They're looking after themselves for a little bit. We train them well.
We got two older sisters kind of helping out there. We really want this for you. So maybe you're newly married, maybe you're just dating, maybe you're single and you're just thinking about being married one day, and you want to make sure that you're entering it the right way, or maybe you're considering not even getting married because you just haven't seen happy, fulfilling marriages, and this could be something that maybe opens up that thought in your mind. That's really unique, a human experience that you can have, building a family, building a long-term relationship with people, or not with people, but with your spouse. So we want to thank you so much for taking the time, for sure, to listen to this. Again, this is just the first episode, so just trying to introduce ourselves to you guys and give you an idea of what you can look forward to here. And we would totally appreciate if you could subscribe to this. And you can also, if you want to watch, you can go check us out on YouTube. We're also on YouTube. Our channel name is The Husband and Wife Podcast. If you want to see a little bit, get a visual experience as well, you can check us out on there.
All right, guys, thank you so much for your time, your attention, and your support. It's been a privilege to speak into this mic to you guys, and we appreciate you. We're so grateful for you, and we really look forward to you joining us in our future episodes, and we cannot wait for the next episode number 2.
For the next episode.
We cannot wait, and it's been good, Chels. We did good, I think.
Yeah, I love you. Good job.
I love you. All right. Good job to you too. And all right, guys, we'll see you on the next episode. Thank you for joining us. Go have yourself a great day, and go and kiss your husband, hug your husband and wife, or
go
your
slap
partner,
their booty,
and tell them you love them, and give them some appreciation, right? Give them some gratitude for something that they did for you today, or or how they show up just send your relationship in a positive trajectory by doing an act that's loving and kind.
Good advice. Even a text, it can go so far.
Yes.
Yes, for sure.
All right, guys, sending love and hugs, signing off. See you guys on the next episode.